Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Hub podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon. And today we're going to be talking about lucid dreaming, one of my personal favorite topics.
So you've had some experience with this.
Yes, that is why it is one of my personal favorite topics. It's actually the catalyst that got me into the paranormal realm in the first place. I mean, when I was a kid, I was interested in Bigfoot, aliens, their existence, if they're real or not, what they did. Maybe they helped with building the pyramids, like Ancient Alien says. Aliens, that guy. But in personal experience territory, this is what really blasted me off into investigating more and more and more. It created a hunger for knowledge into the paranormal and supernatural, because this confirmed for me some things are real even though they're portrayed to just be fiction in media and stuff, like movies.
Would you say this had a negative impact on you?
Overall, it's a positive. But in the moment, it's like a roller coaster. In the beginning it was positive, and then it went into the terrifyingly negative, and then it rose from there into the positive. But before I go into my story that I've been so excited to share with everybody, my story, my personal testimony, that I have been hyping up, and I hope it will not let you guys down. I wanted to first explain what lucid dreaming is for those of you who don't know. So it's two words, lucid and dreaming. Breaking it down into each individual word, the lucid part is to be completely aware of something. And then dreaming is obviously your dreams. So lucid dreaming combined is to be completely aware of the fact that you are dreaming. And from that consciousness, from that being aware within the dream, comes the ability to influence your dreams, to control them in a way, not necessarily, I'll get into the details in a little bit, but I think we're going to do this in a little bit of like a pseudo interview style, because I have told this story to Nick, but there may be questions that he will have as I'm going through that he might not have asked me before. Maybe there's some questions that he's going to ask to help me elaborate for all of you guys who are tuning into this episode. But lucid dreaming, it is the ability to become aware of your dreams and control them from within your dream state. And I want to preface this with going back to when I think I was 18, 19 years old. So this is 12 to 13 years ago. I was going through a pretty rough time in my life, which, without getting too crazy into detail, parents were getting divorced. I'm the oldest of 5 kids. I felt a lot of responsibility, being the oldest of 5. And I was also going through a very depressive time of my life. My outlook was not that great. I was very eager to escape the pain that I felt in the everyday experience of life. So I don't remember what actually piqued my interest on the lucid dreaming part, but I started just looking on forums, spiritual forums. I guess you could say spiritual forums. Back like I said, this is 12, 13 years ago, forums were pretty much where people would conversate and discuss different topics, kind of like how Reddit is nowadays, where they have different subreddits. There were specific websites that would have different sub-forums on those websites that you would discuss different topics. So it was like the precursor to Reddit, I would say. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced, gone diving in on any forums or anything back in the day?
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully there are some of you out there who will understand what I'm talking about.
Back in my day. Sorry,
I'm not that old. I may occasionally sit on a rocking chair and get all curmudgeon-y. Kids playing ball outside my house. No, I'm kidding. So I started going onto these forums, and I don't remember exactly what intrigued me to look for lucid dreaming, but something keyed me in on this, the lucid dreaming, and what it is. I might have heard it on a TV show or something, or maybe on a YouTube video. This is early YouTube, though. Like, maybe I stumbled across it on there, and I was like, oh, let me look deeper into this. And I started reading people's experiences from being able to lucid dream, the things they were able to do in their dreams. It was mind-blowing. People like living second lives and doing mind-blowing things that you just can't fathom being possible in reality, in base reality, where we all exist, live, breathe, and continue to go on with our lives. So as an escape from the depression that I was feeling regularly, I was like very interested in trying to live this second life as these other people have been describing they live on these forums. So I started doing the research in how to learn how to lucid dream, and I stumbled across pretty easy to follow instructions. Is basically I was to write down my dreams first thing I wake up in the morning, or anytime I'm sleeping. If I take a 20-minute nap, if I wake up and I remember dreams, I write down everything I can remember about it in a journal, in a dream journal. And this was supposed to help me be able to recall my dreams. And when you are able to recall your dreams, your frequency of dreaming goes up as well. Where, I mean, the science will say that you dream every night when you're in REM sleep, but you just don't remember it sometimes. So that's what I was under the assumption at the time. I started doing this dream journal. That was step one. And I started increasing the frequency at where I was remembering my dreams. I would wake up, write down every little detail. First thing, and as soon as I woke up, because that's when it's fresh and you're not gonna mix up any details. And I'd write down these dreams, and I'd say I did that for probably about 5 or 6 dreams within a couple week period, and before I was able to actually lucid dream. There's also something I found on these forums, which is like a mantra you repeat to yourself. It's sort of like a meditation. You relax your body and focus on your breathing, and as you're focusing on your breathing, on every out breath or exhale, you in your mind, you talk to yourself in your mind. Some people don't, I guess, I've heard of, but in my experience, I don't know any other way. In your mind, you would repeat to yourself, I am going to dream. I am going to dream. I'm going to dream. And it turns into, I am walking into a dream. I'm walking into my dream. I'm walking into my dream. And it turns into, I will remain lucid in my dream. And as you're doing this, as you're allowing yourself to relax and let your body drift off into sleep, the dream sort of forms around you in your what you remember. Anybody out there, what you remember of, let's say, the most crazy dream you've ever had, whatever you remember of that experience that you feel like you're that first person view experiencing the dream, the same way you do in real life where you're experiencing life, that consciousness shifts into the dream and the dream forms around you. So I did this dream journal for, like I said, a couple of weeks, remembered 5 or 6 dreams. And then I was actively, while I was doing the dream journal, practicing this walking into a dream meditation mantra thing. And I eventually, I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks until I actually got into the lucid dream. No, actually it was within a month. I realized that I was accomplishing what I set out to accomplish, and I was super excited that I'm actually dreaming. This is crazy. I was so excited that I woke myself up from excitement, and I didn't really remember anything at all other than I was actually dreaming. This is crazy. I'm in a dream. Oops. Spooky ghost. That wasn't my finger, I swear. Okay, no, that was a joke. That was my finger. I don't remember much from that dream because it wasn't much. It was me, like the dream forming around me. And then I woke up because I was super excited. And that's something that can happen. It's kind of like waking up from a nightmare. Sometimes you might feel you're trapped in a nightmare and you can't wake up. But when you wake up, you're panicked and you're breathing heavily. Well, this was similar to that. I was breathing heavily when I woke up, but it wasn't because I was terrified. It was because I was so excited and I was overwhelmed with the fact that this is real. Like this is a real thing I can do. So then I kept at it. I kept practicing, and I eventually got into another lucid dream, and this one was crazy. This one I decided I was going to try to fly. That was something that really intrigued me. I always wondered what it would be like to fly. That, like, if I could have a superpower, back then. Now I have different ones in mind, but if I could pick any superpower, it would be to fly, because it's just bound to the earth with gravity. Just sounds so. It sounds so freeing to be in opposition to that, to be able to just fly and go wherever I please. So I got into another lucid dream, and I decided, okay, I'm dreaming, I'm calm. Now I want to see if I can fly. And I don't know how to go about it, obviously, because I've never flown in real life. So I just start thinking, like, okay, well, I want to fly. How do I do this? And I kind of just, like Superman going, putting his arm up. I kind of just like, oh, well, let's try this. And I just start flying. And I was like, whoa, this is really working. I'm flying. I'm freaking out. This is amazing.
I felt like you were actually flying, right? Like you could
felt
feel.
like I was flying. Like, the best thing I can describe it as is what you would imagine it would feel like when you're flying. Now, that's a very good question, though, because I questioned to myself, like, is this what flying would really feel like? Or is this what it feels like because that's what I thought it would feel like? So, there's also there's like a muscle. The best way I can describe this, it's like a muscle. Like, when you pick something up, you're contracting your muscle. Well, this is more like, and it's more towards my core. I could say that while I'm flying and the initial takeoff, I'd put my arm up like Superman, sure. But once I understood how to fly in my lucid dreams, it was no longer me doing that. It was just, I'm taking off. I'm just flying. And there's actually a learning curve to it. Even though I was in a dream, it's not like I was instantly amazing at what I was doing. Like, I still had to learn how to control my speed, how to control where I'm going. Sometimes I would be going a little too fast, and I'm flying around a narrow corridor, and I need to, like, lower myself real quick, or else I'm about to hit the ceiling before I go into the corridor. So I'm like lowering myself as fast as I can, because I'm already going so fast. I'm about to smash into that. And I'm like, whoosh, oh man, that was a close one. And then there's like, I want to go up, and it's like a muscle. Like, I'm like tensing a muscle, and it controls my pitch or my elevation, my going up and down. And the left and right is kind of just like leaning with it. And it was just crazy. It was mind blowing. I was like, I'm lucid dreaming. I'm doing this. And I thought there was something so amazing that I had this special skill that none of my friends knew about. My family didn't know about. I'm like, I kept it to myself. This is amazing. So my first successful lucid dream, I was flying, and then I woke up and wrote all that down in the dream journal too. And then my second lucid dream, where I was actually in control, I was like, okay, I need to go into a scenario that requires me to fly. So I wanted to set up this like rescue mission type experience. And The interesting thing about the dream realm, what I experienced was, it's not like I think to myself, I want a I need an umbrella, so it just materializes in my hand. It's not like that. It's more like, if I thought I needed an umbrella because it's raining, I turn around and there's an umbrella. Like it's conveniently there. So it's not like I'm watching things materialize. Like the dream forms around you very very quickly. So it's basically like walking into a dream. Like that's a very apt description. And then it turns into having an influence on the dream that's playing out. So I didn't say I'm going to do, I'm going to have this rescue mission type dream where I do this and then that and then this. It's not like that. It's just, all right, I need a purpose to test my skills with flight. And I also wanted to be able to shoot fireballs from my hands because I thought that would be magnificently amazing. That would be my main form of attack if I needed to defend myself in the dream realm. So my subconsciousness, or maybe it's just, I don't know how the dream realm works. I'll get into my theories about that on the next episode. But the dream was set up to where there was a rescue mission. I had to rescue this girl from a John Wick style security team. It was like a bunch of like maybe Secret Service type people. Like they were all dressed in suits, had like the sunglasses on, like the blackout glasses, and they all had rifles, like AR-15s kind of rifles. And they were all just like posted around this mansion in various spots, and I had to fight my way through them in order to rescue this girl. I don't know who the girl was. I don't know. That's just what my dream ended up being. So I'm like, all right, this is great. Now I really get to test this out. And I end up flying around to the mansion because I could see it in the distance. I fly to the mansion, and there's a moat around the mansion. And in the moat, there's this reptilian humanoid creature, kind of like Killer Croc in like the Batman series in DC. Are you familiar with Killer Croc?
Yeah.
So he's kind of jacked.
He's a little big.
He's broad, upper body. I'd say he's probably about 8 feet tall, something like that. He's a big guy. So this humanoid reptilian creature was swimming in the moat that was surrounding the mansion, and it like surfaced so I could see it, and it looked at me, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna ignore that thing, and I kept going. I went in and I started taking out the security detail, and I'm like, all right, this is where it really comes out. Like I'm gonna test these fireballs because I was already getting better at the flying. Still wasn't amazing at it, but I was good enough. So I'm having a bunch of near misses where I'm like flying down a hallway. This is what I was saying, the corridor, flying down a hallway, and a security guy jumps out in front of me, and I have to like dodge him, and I threw a fireball at him, and he's burning, and he's like, oh, I'm like, oh man, I'm really doing this. So I basically fly around this whole mansion, taking out everybody with security detail, and eventually I get to this courtyard in like the backyard, and there's a pool, like an in-ground pool, and I see that I have to go through that to get to this secret tunnel that's underneath the pool. Like the pool has like this secret underwater cave tunnel thing that goes, and I end up flying over there and seeing the reptilian crocodile guy that's in the pool now, and he starts like, I don't remember exactly what he says, but he starts talking crap to me. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna mess this guy up. So I dive into the water and start wrestling with him. And I was like, oh no, I just realized I can't breathe underwater. This guy can. I'm at a disadvantage. Wait a second. And then as I was thinking that, I realized, oh, I don't need to breathe underwater because I can. I just can. So it's not like I randomly developed gills in my dream or anything like that. I just didn't need to breathe. So I'm underwater fighting this crocodile thing, this reptilian humanoid crocodile thing, and wrestling around with him in the water, and things are working out in my favor because I end up like subduing him. He submits, and he swims away. Yeah, he taps. He swims away into that tunnel. That I said was underneath the the pool, the underwater cave tunnel thing. He retreats into there and disappears. And I rescue the girl, and great. It was awesome. I saved the princess. She was in this castle after all. And
did she give you a thank you?
She actually she gave me a high five.
Okay. I thought
No, she didn't give me anything. It was just yeah, you saved me, and then I woke up. So that was like my main experiences with lucid dreaming. Now I was extremely excited. Like I said, I had this ability that other people don't even think is real in the first place. And other people wouldn't believe me if I told them. So, you know, granted, there are probably some people out there that would, but it was just a mind-blowing experience. I was extremely happy to be able to, I was mastering this skill to be able to live that second life. And back then, you know, when I was so depressed, I was thinking, you know, it really sucks that they recommend that you get 8 hours of sleep a day, which means that, you know, the other 16 that you're awake is your life that you get to experience and live. And the 8 hours that you sleep a day is, you know, you're recharging and you're resting. And I thought, like, man, these 16 hours I'm awake suck so bad. And like, maybe I wish I could make use out of I'm wasting a third of my life sleeping. I could probably do something with that. I could make use out of this. And so that was the Easter egg. Not the Easter, the carrot dangled on the stick in front of me that I was chasing. It was like this ability to live a fantastical comic book, video game, awesome life outside of reality that feels real when you're experiencing it and takes some type of effort and skill to practice and master.
Did you feel well rested after?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I still felt really well. Actually, I would wake up from these lucid dreams and feel better than well rested. I'd feel ecstatically like energized.
So has this happened during REM?
I believe so, because that is when the dream. That's when science says you go into dreams, but science also tries to explain away sleep paralysis, which I think that there's other sources and meanings or reasons why people go through sleep paralysis. I don't think it's just what science says is your body naturally paralyzes itself when you're sleeping, so you don't act out your dreams. Like I don't think so, because you know, if I've observed another person sleeping and having a bad dream, which I have in my life, my wife has slept right next to me, and I can tell she's having a bad dream, and she moves. So, what is sleep paralysis not working that instance because she's having a nightmare? No, I don't think so. And like, I mean, you look at, you know, our pets, dogs, cats, they dream. I've seen a video of a dog dreaming and it's running. Like it's laying down on its side, but it's like legs are moving because like, in its dream it's running. So like, what is it? What is this sleep paralysis? I don't say that sleep paralysis isn't a thing, but I don't think it's what science tells us. So with that being said, I don't know how much of the science is true when it comes to sleep and dreaming. I believe there are different sleep cycles. I just don't know if the REM sleep is the only time when dreaming is happening.
One other question. Like, did you write down the times you woke up to in that dream journal? Because I'm curious to see like how long that lasted.
No.
So like if you, let's say, I went to bed
dates.
Here. You did? But do you think you recall like, so I started my lucid dream now, and then I woke up now. I'm just trying to see.
Well, if you start your lucid dream, you can't write down when it started.
No, I mean like before you go to bed, like
I went to go lay down and go to sleep this time.
And then like you woke up from your lucid dream. I just wanted to see if you knew like how much time elapsed during that. Okay.
No, I remember I would write down the date. Like I would write out the month, the full word. So like when this was like June 26th, and then the year. I don't remember the year. It was probably 2013, I think. 2012 or 2013. I think it was the spring of 2013. I'm pretty sure. But like I'd write down the full month, the day, the year, and then I'd just write the dream, much detail as I could remember. And I don't have that dream journal anymore. I lost it in moving around, which I would love to, because with what we do now and what I've learned and how much research I've done into just the paranormal in general, I would love to have that resource to see if there's any other dots I could connect. I mean, maybe I do have it buried in my books, but I haven't stumbled across it since I was like 20, 21. So it's been a while. It could be buried somewhere though. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, our REM sleep stands for rapid eye movement, because that's what's happening while you're sleeping. That is what's happening when you're dreaming. But is that true? I don't know. I really don't know. Because what we're going to discuss with where my story goes next on the next episode, it's going to answer a few questions, but open up so many more.
Mm-hmm.
So many more questions.
Now we do have some research a little bit. I am going to read this off word for word. So there was a 2023 study that found lucid dreaming therapy can significantly reduce symptoms of PTSD, including like anxiety, nightmares, and emotional distress. So it's interesting that they're finding this out right now through this research.
That is interesting. I'm curious as to how that would help. I mean, like what I mentioned, like lucid dreaming was helping me not be depressed.
So maybe like find a different outlook. But this is the one. This one was crazy. So a groundbreaking study demonstrated real-time dialogue between experimenters and lucid dreamers during the REM sleep. It opened up so much possibilities. So like they were finding out that they could. Let me just click on this article real quick. Hold on a second. And I'll read the summary of it. Or if you want to.
All right, so the summary says that dreams take us to a different reality, a hallucinatory world that feels as real as any waking experience. Pause. I don't believe that, but let's continue. These often bizarre episodes are emblematic of human sleep, but have yet to be adequately explained. Retrospective dream reports are subject to distortion and forgetting, presenting a fundamental challenge for neuroscientific studies of dreaming. Here, we show that individuals who are asleep and in the midst of a lucid dream, which is aware of the fact that they are currently dreaming, they can perceive questions from an experimenter and provide answers using electrophysiological signals. We implemented our procedures for two-way communication during polysomnographically verified rapid eye movement sleep in 36 individuals. That's a good sample size, 36 individuals. Yeah. Some had minimal prior experience with lucid dreaming. Others were frequent lucid dreamers. That's also good, splitting that up. And one was a patient with narcolepsy who had frequent lucid dreams. During REM sleep, these individuals exhibited various capabilities, including performing vertical perceptual analysis of novel information, maintaining information in working memory, computing simple answers, and expressing volitional replies. Their responses included distinctive eye movements and selective facial muscle contractions, constituting correctly answered questions on 29 occasions across 6 of the individuals tested. Wait a second, they just said 36. Oh, only 6 of the individuals tested. Okay. These repeated observations of interactive dreaming documented by 4 independent laboratory groups demonstrate that phenomenological and cognitive characteristics of dreaming can be interrogated in real time. This relatively unexplored communication channel can enable a variety of practical applications and a new strategy for the empirical exploration of dreams. Now that I find valuable.
So this was from cell.com. I will post this in the description. But I just want to like that. That's just nuts to me that they can.
I also, in the lucid dreaming forums, I've read that people were like learning things that, like, they were learning guitar in their dream and able to play guitar in real life.
What?
Yeah, that I just scratched the surface with just being superhero type stuff. So like that's also what really intrigued me. I was like, man, I can actually make use of this 8 hours a day I'm sleeping.
That's interesting.
And learn things. Like, imagine that. Imagine going to sleep, waking up, and be like, well, now I know Spanish.
But how do you
like,
do
now
that?
I can speak Japanese.
How do you do that though? Because you have to have some sort of notion about that in your real life,
It's
right?
the lucid dreaming part. It's being lucid. It's being, because that is your actual consciousness that you are. So when I was lucid in my dreams, that is the same me that is sitting here right next to you talking. The soul, the spirit that inhabits my body, that it makes me who I am, was conscious in the dream. And I'm sure many people have had dreams where they felt so weird and questioned things and been like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this happening? And the moment they realize, what, am I dreaming? Then they wake up. That's becoming lucid. That is becoming lucid in your dream.
Now, would you recommend any like techniques or anything for people to do it? Or
well, with what I've learned, I have sworn off from willingly doing lucid dreaming now. From pursuing it myself, because I have had lucid dreams, even recent days, in recent times. I have had lucid dreams without intentionally doing it. And those dreams, some of them have been quite important to what I perceive to be my relationship with God and what he tells me. Some of them were just completely nonsensical, silly, whimsical, fun dreams. But I don't necessarily condone doing this, because in the next episode I will explain to you, all of you guys watching, what the next step from lucid dreaming is. Just a little teaser. It's called astral projection, and what is actually going on behind the scenes that you may not be aware of that you're messing with. So other than the little techniques that I told you guys about how I did to get there, there are other ways to do this, and I'm not going to really give you guys the detailed ways to get there, because if you truly want to do this, you will do it. You're a human. You have your own free will.
You found out, right?
I found out. And this was 11, 12 years ago, maybe 13.
Just think of what's out there now.
Exactly. And there's also binaural beats, which I'm going to get into next episode, that you can use to help you lucid dream too. Look, I don't condone it. I'm not going to give you any more information than what I have given. I can give more and will not. But if it is something that intrigues you, maybe figure out on your own. I was fascinated and regretted it. And
just use caution.
Use caution. Very much use caution. Because I think we're tapping into an actual realm that we don't necessarily have permission to tap into. Like, God communicates with us in our dreams. I mean, he has, in the Bible, spoken with many prophets and people in their dreams. They were having visions, they would say. And there would be people who interpret those dreams because God was speaking to people in the dreams. Why? I don't know. I can't answer why God does anything. I'm not God. But I think that he gave us those for a purpose. He gave us dreams for a purpose. I haven't figured out 100% what that is. I think that a part of it is to communicate with us. But I also think that enacting our will upon that realm is not necessarily welcome in his eyes, but maybe, just maybe, other entities like when we do that. So take that for what you will. This was my personal testimony and experiences with lucid dreaming. If you guys have any questions, feel free, please ask them in the comments. I'll answer them the best I can. Unless it's more information on how to lucid dream. Figure that out on yourself, guys. I don't want to be responsible for helping anyone else have experiences like I've had.
But we do want to hear your experiences.
Yes.
If you have had any lucid dreaming experiences, please let us know in the comments.
Don't be afraid to share your stories. I was afraid to share mine after all of my experiences summed up together for quite a while, until something pushed me to the point to share it with my father, the one person who I thought would believe me and take what I'm saying as the truth, because it was just so unbelievable. And even then, I was reluctant to share it with other people besides him. But nowadays, I'm totally fine sharing it, even after I ultimately decided to give my life over to Jesus Christ. I've been a lot more comfortable with sharing everything I've been through, because it is my testimony, is what got me to be a Christian, from all the way from being an atheist when I was practicing these things. I was a self-proclaimed atheist. So I don't want to steer anybody into doing things that I have learned God does not want us to do. Bottom line.
Yeah, these episodes, these are what we've been, really itching to talk about.
For months.
Brandon's very passionate about it. It was such a crazy story. And I can't wait for you to hear the next one there.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be discussing tomorrow astral projection. Some people call that remote viewing, it's been called. The FBI and CIA, and even certain very, very evil forces in history, the National Socialists, we'll say, because I think the other word is a censored trigger word. They had scientists working on remote viewing for purposes that were not good for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So astral projection, remote viewing. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
Honestly, we can't thank you all enough for just tuning in to us. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody.